going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay, and you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefield in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are in social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. That's very good. And, you know, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpoint? Yes.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. This article is from newstarget.com, and we're going to get straight to the point here. It says Netanyahu demands global censorship. As we told you, all right, who were the people spearheading all of these laws and legislations to control the narrative that's going out on social media? As you just heard him out of his own mouth. Okay? Time is running out. Netanyahu demands global censorship, accuses Australian government of encouraging anti-you-know-who. Okay? Now, before we read on, this came out 2 days ago on December 14th, 2025. All right, it says Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at a government meeting in Dimona, quote, on August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-you-know-what in Australia.
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia. I wrote, your call for a Palestinian state pours fuel on the anti-Semitic fire. It rewards Hamas terrorism. It emboldens those who menace Australian Jews and encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action, appeasement with resolve. Instead, Prime Minister, you replaced weakness with weakness and appeasement with more appeasement. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today. We saw an action of a brave man, turns out a Muslim brave man, and I salute him, that stopped one of these terrorists from killing innocent Jews. But it requires the action of your government, which you're not taking. And you have to, because history will not forgive hesitation and weakness. It will honor action and strength. That's what Israel expects of each of your governments in the West and elsewhere, because the disease spreads and it will consume you as well. But we are worrying right now about our people, our safety, and we do not remain silent. We fight those who try to annihilate us. They're not only trying to annihilate us, they attack us because they attack the West. In Syria, we saw yesterday 2 American soldiers killed and 1 American interpreter killed as well. Killed because they represent our common culture. Now, as a result of this, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said the following. He said, "Let it be known that if you target Americans anywhere in the world, you will spend the rest of your brief, anxious life knowing the United States will hunt you, find you, and ruthlessly kill you." We send our condolences to the people of America, and I want to say that our policy is exactly that policy. That's why those who target Israelis, target our soldiers, try to kill them or try to hurt them and wound them, as happened in Gaza yesterday, we take action. They will spend the rest of their brief, anxious lives knowing that Israel will hunt them, find them, and ruthlessly dispose of them. That is American policy. This is Israel's policy. It's our policy in Gaza, in Lebanon, anywhere around us. We do not sit by and let these killers kill us.
Yeah, so let the victimization begin, all right? As you heard them talking about policy, all right? This is what they always wanted, right here. Again, Not a Jew demands global censorship, okay? We warned you that it was going to happen, and they were going to be in the forefront of pushing it, okay? And now it's happening. I just want to read a little bit here, and that'll be it. Like I said, this is just straight to the point. Okay, it says, in a world increasingly connected by digital threads, the battle for narrative control has become the new frontier of power. We told you. It was always about narrative control. Okay? The battle for narrative control has become the new frontier of power. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin, not a Jew, is now openly demanding that Western nations adopt a policy of aggressive censorship. See? Time is short, man. Okay? They getting ready to come down on anything that's, anybody that's saying anything, criticizing them, critiquing them, okay, exposing them. They're ready to just shut it all down. Okay? It says now openly demanding that Western nations adopt a policy of aggressive censorship, framing any criticism of the Israeli state as a dangerous disease must be eradicated. See that? Okay, the great wrath is coming. And that censorship, the famine of the word, ties all into that. This push for global speech code to police online discourse reveals a concerted effort to shield Israeli policies from scrutiny. See? By redefining dissent as hate. See that? All these things that any type of criticism, anything that you say, anything that you may expose is going to be tied under the banner of hate. Okay? What does this mean for free speech? When a foreign leader insists that your government must criminalize certain political viewpoints to satisfy his expectations. Real quick, as we know, Amos 8 and 11, behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And that's what it's all about. Okay? Every policy, every law, every decree is set up to remove the word of the Lord. Okay? Controlling the narrative on the internet to get the prophets off the highways and hedges. Okay? Soon to come videos, channels are going to be under attack all over again. On a whole, on a whole nother level. All right? So the Lord is about to make short the work. Verse 12, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and shall not find it. All right? So this is what's going to tie in to this global censorship that's coming. It says, in that day the fair virgins and the young men faint for thirst. All right? So the famine is on the way. Okay? Let's read a little bit more. Okay, so it says key points. Nadaju directly blamed Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese for a violent attack in Sydney, claiming Albanese's support for Palestinian statehood fuels anti-you-know-what. The Israeli leader declared that Israel, quote, expects Western governments to crack down on what it defines as anti-you-know-what, warning that the hesitation is a fatal weakness, all right? So they're getting ready to put pressure on the on these American politicians, you know, to forward, you know, their wants of this crackdown and any criticism on the so-called, you know, small hat state, right? This political pressure aligns with the stated goals of Rabbi Yehuda Kaplan, nominated as the U.S. Special Envoy to monitor and combat, you know what, all right? They got a whole, you know, military force behind, you know, the monitoring what they deem as hate speech, right? It says, who plans to work with social media companies to label and suppress misinformation, all right? It says, these developments point to an international strategy to use algorithmic content moderation and broad definitions of hate speech to silence criticism of Israeli military and occupation policies. There you go. Right? Let's see what else we got here. Let's jump down to the point. Here we go. Right? Not a Jew's push for narrative control. Right? It says, I want to get to the point. Right here, this last paragraph. Right? So let's let's read these last two paragraphs here. So it says the goal is to explore a paradigm where the state's actions, particularly in its ongoing occupation, are insinuated from critical examination by branding such examination as a security threat. Check that out. Not a Jew's speech linking the fight against, quote, those who try to annihilate us to a broader class of civilizations and designed to make censorship seem like a necessary defense of Western culture itself. Last point here. The implications are profound when a nation that maintains a military censor for its own press and oversees a regime described by leading human rights organizations as apartheid demands that other democracies police speech. It turns the concept of liberal values on its head. It asks citizens in free societies to surrender their right to question and debate in the name of protecting a foreign government's policies. The real cancer, quote unquote, may not be dissent, but the authoritarian impulse to silence it, an impulse that is now being packaged and presented as a necessary policy for the West. All right, so it's coming, man. Okay, we warned you, we told you, okay, and it's here. You know, so that's the time the time is running short, man. The famine is on its way, man. You know, Shalom.